A bomb went off outside a restaurant in central Moscow, 2.5 kilometers from the Kremlin. The stage inside read Alexander 55. Russia's newly appointed Aerospace Forces commander had just turned 55. 3 people are dead, 21 wounded. An explosive hidden inside a gift, and nobody knows who sent it. Was it Zelensky? A homemade bomb exploded outside an upmarket restaurant in central Moscow, killing 3 people and wounding at least 21 in what Russian authorities are investigating as a terrorist attack. The blast struck the Balzi Rossi restaurant on Kudrinskaya Square shortly before 8 p.m. local time on August 1st, around 2.5 kilometers from the Kremlin. Russia's National Anti-Terrorism Committee said a woman attempted to carry an improvised explosive device into the restaurant, but was stopped by a security guard. The device detonated near the entrance as the package was being inspected. The woman carrying the bomb, the security guard, and a restaurant guest were killed. Investigators have not established whether the woman knowingly transported the explosive or was used as an unwitting courier. The bomb was reportedly concealed inside a gift and packed with metal fragments designed to increase casualties. Emergency workers and armed security personnel sealed off the area as the wounded were taken to hospitals across the Russian capital.
Yesterday, a brutal terrorist act was committed in Moscow that claimed human lives. The victims are currently in the city's hospitals, where they are receiving all necessary care.
Russian and independent media reports suggested the explosion may have targeted Colonel-General Aleksandr Chayko, the newly appointed commander-in-chief of Russia's Aerospace Forces. The restaurant had reportedly been closed for a private banquet, while footage circulating online showed preparations around a stage bearing the words, Alexander, 55. Chayko turned 55 on July 27th. However, Russian authorities have not confirmed that the general attended the gathering or that he was the intended target. Reports claiming that Chayko survived while members of his family were killed or wounded have also not been officially verified. Chayko previously commanded Russian forces in Syria and led the Eastern Military District during the opening phase of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. He was the senior Russian commander on the ground when troops entered Bucha, where hundreds of civilians were killed during the occupation. No organization has claimed responsibility for the bombing, and Moscow has presented no evidence linking the attack to Ukraine. Kyiv has not commented.
Those responsible for committing this crime will certainly be found and will face the punishment they deserve.
The bombing follows a series of attacks against senior Russian military figures since the invasion began in 2022. Several officers have been killed by explosives in Moscow, while Ukrainian operations have demonstrated an ability to strike military targets deep inside Russian territory. Whether Chayko was the intended target remains unproven, but an explosive reaching the entrance of a guarded private gathering in central Moscow has raised fresh questions about Russia's ability to protect its senior commanders as the war moves ever closer to the Kremlin. It began with an explosion in Monaco. It has ended thousands of miles away with a confession from inside Ukraine's own military intelligence. Ukraine's Prosecutor General's office and the security service say a Ukrainian intelligence officer has admitted to killing the woman suspected of trying to assassinate sanctioned Dnipro businessman Vadim Yermolayev, unraveling a case that started as an attack on foreign soil and ended as a murder investigation at home. The woman, Anastasia Berezovska, allegedly slipped back into Ukraine on July 1st. Within days, she was dead, and investigators were already tracing every step she had taken since landing.
According to investigators, she arrived in Ukraine on July 1st, 2026. The authorities identified the people she had been in contact with and traced her movements.
The trail led to 2 men, a former law enforcement officer and a serving HUR officer, both of whom had wired her money through crypto wallets and bank transfers. That financial link was enough to turn suspicion into scrutiny and scrutiny into arrest. Then came the discovery that turned the case darker still. A search of the former officer's home uncovered a basement investigators say had been fitted out as a torture chamber. Berezovska's body bore gunshot wounds to the head, with spent shell casings recovered at the scene. Both men now face charges of murder committed as part of a group.
During urgent investigative steps, the active HUR officer confessed to killing Berezovska together with another suspect. He also said he had not informed his superiors about his contacts with her.
Behind it all sits the man who was never meant to survive the attack that started it. On June 29th, an explosion ripped through an apartment building in Monaco, leaving Yermolayev and his wife in critical condition, while their 13-year-old son escaped with non-life-threatening injuries.
An explosive device which was near the entrance door, either on the access steps to the building or immediately in the vestibule, and which seriously injured 3 inhabitants of this building who were presumably returning home.
Yermolayev built his fortune across agribusiness, real estate, construction materials and medical equipment, one of Dnipro's wealthiest men. He gave up his Ukrainian citizenship in 2017, settled in Monaco after the 2022 invasion, and was sanctioned by Kyiv in 2023 over alleged Russian ties, accusations he has consistently denied. What remains unclear is why a HUR officer was involved at all. That question now sits with prosecutors preparing charges as Ukraine's national police and the SBU's counterintelligence unit push the investigation forward.
Ukraine's intelligence services say they destroyed a launch system for the 3 Orishnik ballistic missiles, ready for launch from Russia's Kapustin Yar range in the Astrakhan region in the summer of 2023. According to Security Service of Ukraine head Vasyl Malyuk, the operation took place on Russian territory at Kapustin Yar and was carried out by the combined forces of Ukraine's military intelligence, the SBU and the Foreign Intelligence Service.
One of the 3 Orishniks was successfully destroyed on their territory in Kapustin Yar by the forces of the GUR military intelligence, SBU, and the Foreign Intelligence. We will not reveal any details. It was a very successful mission, and at that time, we did not say a word about it. A lot of time has passed.
Russian President Vladimir Putin had earlier claimed that the Orishnik was impossible to intercept and had the destructive power comparable to a nuclear weapon, though Western experts have questioned these assertions. Putin said in June Russia was stepping up production but gave no details.
In combat conditions, a test was carried out of one of the latest Russian intermediate-range missile systems, in this case with a non-nuclear hypersonic version of a ballistic missile.
Ukraine's intelligence, however, estimates that Russia has fired 1 Orishnik missile and destroyed a second, with at least 1 still in its arsenal. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that Russia may deploy the Orishnik to Belarus, putting parts of Europe within its reach.
We understand that their approximate range is 5,500 kilometers, and there is a dead zone of 700 kilometers. This means that Europeans, especially those in Eastern Europe, should pay attention to this.
Zelensky stressed that it was crucial for these enterprises to come under sanctions.
25 Russian companies that are working to enable the production of Orishnik, though not many, they are nonetheless producing 6 missiles per year, are not sanctioned.